Hello everyone and welcome back to Coach Craig Sports. Today is Saturday, March 26th, and this is the NBA DFS video for today. So in today's video, we're going to be going over a recap of yesterday's picks, seeing how they turned out, talking about the injuries in play for tonight's slate is an 8-game slate overall, and then going over my picks for both FanDuel and DraftKings for tonight's slate. But without further ado, we'll get into it with a recap of yesterday's picks. We're going to start off on the DraftKings side at point guard position with Patrick Beverley. So he used $4,700, looking for 24 points on him. He got to 18.25, ended up being a mess yesterday. Only ended up playing 25 minutes in this game as it was a blowout. So if he plays regular minutes, probably gets to what we were looking for out of him yesterday. Then Alec Burks at $6,100, looking for 31 points on him. He got 24, so he was a mess as well. Only played 24 minutes in this game. This was a really weird game. Seems like it was kind of a blowout for a while, but then the Knicks backups came in and they played really well and they actually ended up winning the game. So I don't even know how to explain that game overall. Then a small forward kind of switched it up later on in the day. Tomas Satoransky, once he was announced that he was starting yesterday for the Washington Wizards, $3,300, cheap price tag there, 17 points, what we were looking for out of him. Got to 22.25, so he was a hit yesterday. Then at power forward, we had Obi Toppin, and he was $4,500, looking for 23 points out of him. He was a guy that was playing really bad up until about the end of the third quarter, fourth quarter, kind of in that range when the Knicks started turning on. Ended up with 26 points, so he ended up being a hit yesterday. Then at the center position, had Bam Adebayo early in the day. Switched up to Joel Embiid once Jimmy Butler was announced that he was playing. So he was $11,200, looking for 56 points out. He got to 49.5, so he was a mess. Only played 28 minutes, and this game was a blowout as well. So plays normal minutes, probably gets to what we were looking for out of him yesterday. So 2 out of 5 on the DraftKings side. Definitely not what we were looking for. Hopefully can do a nice little bounce back there on tonight's slate, though. Then on the FanDuel side, we had Tomas Satoransky once again at the point guard position this time. $3,700, looking for 19 points out. Got to 23.6, so he was a hit. And then a shooting guard, we had Alex Burks once again, $6,000, looking for 30 points out. He got to 22.3 on the FanDuel side, so he was a miss. As I mentioned on DraftKings side, only ended up playing 24 minutes yesterday. Kind of weird game overall there. Then RJ Barrett at small forward, $7,800, had been playing well, had been playing pretty well without Julius Randle. Looking for 39 points out, got 28.6. He was a miss. Only 5 for 17 shooting from the field and had 5 turnovers, which is kind of a detriment on the FanDuel side. Then at power forward, stuck with Jared Vanderbilt at $4,200, looking for 21 points out. He got 22.2, so he was a hit as well. That was another game that was a blowout too, so could have had a little bit higher upside as well. Then last but not least, we had Bam Adebayo, stuck with him at $8,300. Said you could probably play Rudy Gobert as well. Not quite sure how he did. I didn't really look too much into that afterwards last night. But we were looking for 42 points out of Bam Adebayo. Ended up with 34.3, so he's a miss. Not the best game for him overall. Not a bad game by any means, but just not quite what we were expecting out of him. Obviously, Jimmy Butler did end up playing and playing pretty well. So 2 out of 5 on the FanDuel side as well. Not the greatest day in the world, but hopefully bouncing back once again tonight. But with that being said, we'll get moving over into the injuries in play for tonight's slate. And we do have one game that is starting at 5 o'clock Eastern time. I'm assuming this is not on the regular slate, though. So it's San Antonio Spurs and New Orleans Pelicans. For the Spurs, they are without Romeo Langford, Doug McDermott, Lonnie Walker, and then Devin Vassell listed as questionable. If he does not end up playing, safe to assume that Josh Richardson takes his spot in that starting lineup. Then for the Pelicans, Zion Williamson is out once again. Brandon Ingram is questionable to play. We did see Larry Nance be available in the last game, so we'll see how that all shakes out for their team going forward. Then moving over to what I assume is the main slate with the Sacramento Kings and the Orlando Magic. Terrence Davis is out. De'Aaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis are also out as well. So a little bit of value on this Kings team once again. For the Orlando Magic, Jalen Suggs out once again. And then Wendell Carter listed as questionable to play. If he does not end up playing, Chuma Okeke looks pretty good on both sides once again. And then for the Pacers, we have Chris Duarte, Isaiah Jackson, TJ McConnell, Miles Turner, all listed as out. Dwayne Washington, Jalen Smith, Goga Batati, all listed as questionable today, so there could be some value on this Pacers team once again. Looks like Malcolm Brogdon should make his return tonight. And then for the Toronto Raptors, Gary Trent is listed as questionable, and Malachi Flynn is out for tonight's game. Obviously, we did see OG Anunoby return in the previous game. Moving down to the Bulls, Lonzo Ball's out once again. Then DeMar DeRozan and Alex Caruso, both listed as game time decisions, but both expected to play. DeRozan obviously did miss the previous game. For the Cleveland Cavaliers, they're without Jared Allen, Rajon Rondo, and Dean Wade once again, so no changes there. For the Brooklyn Nets, they're without LaMarcus Aldridge and Ben Simmons. They do get Seth Curry and Goran Dragic back tonight. Then for the Miami Heat, they're without Gabe Vincent, Victor Oladipo, and I assume Tyler Hero is still out once again tonight. Then for the Milwaukee Bucks, they're without Drew Holiday tonight. Giannis listed as questionable, but probably ends up playing. And then Chris Middleton expected to make his return tonight. For the Memphis Grizzlies, they're without John Morant, Killian Tilly, and Brandon Clark once again, so no real changes there. Obviously, we did see Xavier Tillman play a couple more minutes off the bench, so if you're looking for a guy to play in GPPs, Xavier Tillman might be a guy to take a shot on tonight. Very cheap on the DraftKings side. For the Oklahoma City Thunder, they are without Jerome Robinson-Earl, Josh Giddey listed as doubtful. Then we have Kenrich Williams, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, and Derek Favors. All this is questionable, so we see ends up playing out of that trio tonight. For the Nuggets, we have Kankar Murray, both listed out again. Zeke Naji is questionable, and Michael Porter Jr. is questionable tonight, so keep an eye out on that. We'll see if he plays. Obviously, if he does end up playing, he'll probably have some type of minutes limit overall. For the Houston Rockets, just John Wall out once again tonight, so no changes there. For the Portland Trailblazers, we have Eric Bledsoe, Didi Lozada, Joseph Nurkic, and Anthony Simons all out once again. Then Justice Winslow and Josh Hart, both this is questionable, both ended up missing last night. But with that being said, that's a quick little rundown on all the injuries in play for tonight's slate. A couple that we'll be keeping our eye out on throughout the day. Mainly Wendell Carter Jr., some of that Pacers news, and then probably that Portland Trailblazers news at the end of the night as well. But with that being said, we'll get moving over to DraftKings and talk about my picks over there. So at the point guard position, we're going to go with George Hill. $3,000 here, only looking for 15 points out. I'm averaging 16 on the season. There is no Drew Holiday tonight, so it's pretty safe to assume that George Hill will be in that starting lineup. We'll also see some minutes from Javon Carter at that point guard position as well. We've seen a couple of times this year that Javon Carter, George Hill play alongside each other. Javon Carter and Drew Holiday have also played alongside each other, so just keep that in mind. But George Hill currently I'm projected for about 19-20 points tonight. Then at shooting guard, we're going to go with Dillon Brooks, one of my least favorite players in the NBA, but decent little price tag here at $5,800. Looking for 29 points out. I'm averaging about 29 on the season. Currently, I'm projected for about 30-31 points tonight. Then at small forward, we have Jimmy Butler, Jimmy Buckets himself, $8,400. Looking for 42 points out. Averaging about 41.5 on the season. Currently starting to play a little bit better, so maybe he's getting a little bit healthier at this point in time. Had a very nice game last night. I do expect him to do pretty well once again tonight. Currently, I'm projected for 42 points, but definitely has a ton of upside for more. Then we move down to the power forward position with Chiwezi Meto out of Sacramento for the Kings. He's $4,000, looking for 20 points out of exactly what he's averaging on the season. Goes against the Orlando Magic, so it's a pretty good matchup between two teams that are not that great overall. Spent some time with Trey Lyles, Damon Jones, and those guys in the front court, but Metu does have some upside and has shown it at times this season. So currently I have him projected for about 23 points. Has some upside for more, has some downside for less as well. Then at center we have Steven Adams, $6,600. Looking for 33 points at him. There's no Brandon Clark behind him today, so we have some Xavier Tillman in there. But if Steven Adams is out there playing like he can, it's going to be a pretty good game for him going against Brook Lopez, Bobby Portis, Serge Ibaka, guys like that. Currently, I'm projected for 33 points. Offers some upside for more and a little bit of downside for less as well. But if you go with these five players on the DraftKings side, for tonight, you have $22,200 remaining, $7,400 per player. You could pay up for one stud if that's something you really want to do and then kind of mix and match from there. Or if you want to take a little bit more balanced approach on tonight's slate, that is definitely fine as well. But with that being said, we'll get moved over to FanDuel and talk about my picks over there as well. So once again, at the point guard position, we have George Hill. $3,700, so a little bit more pricey on the FanDuel side. Looking for 18-19 points at him. Currently, I'm projected for about 19-20 points tonight. Once again, no Drew Holiday tonight, so it looks pretty good for him overall. A couple different point guard options you could go with on the FanDuel side if you want to do so. And then at the shooting guard position, we have Jimmy Butler once again, $8,000. Looking for 40 points at him. Averaging about 41 on the season. Currently having projected for 41 points. Definitely could be a good little matchup against Brooklyn, and he played rather well last night, so it looks like Jimmy Butler might be getting a little bit healthier at this point in time. Then small forward, one of the cheap option here in CJ Elleby at $3,700. Looking for 18-19 points out of him. If he ends up in the starting lineup again, if Josh Hart and Justice Winslow both don't end up playing, could be a pretty good game for CJ Elleby once again. Currently I'm projected for 20 points, has some upside for more, has some downside for less. Going against the Houston Rockets is kind of a matchup of two bad teams, so it's not like there should be a blowout on either end, and even if there is, CJ Elleby's a young player that should get some run either way. Then we move down to the power forward position. The guy that keeps popping up a lot for me is Aaron Gordon. $5,000. Looking for 25 points at him. Currently, I'm projected for 26. Averaging almost 27 on the season. Goes against Oklahoma City. Should be a decent little matchup there. Has some upside for more. Has some downside for less. Not too much else you can say about Aaron Gordon, as you've probably heard a million times on my videos so far in recent history, because his price tag's been right around that $5,000. A lot of times he's looking like a decent little value play. Then last but not least, we have Steven Adams at that center position, $5,800. Looking for 29 points down, averaging about 27.5 points on the season so far. No Brandon Clark behind him. Pretty good matchup against the Milwaukee Bucks here. So would not be surprised if Steven Adams comes out and has a pretty good game. Has some pretty good upside for more. Has some downside for less as well, as I already mentioned on the DraftKings side as well. But with that being said, if you go with these 5 players, on the FanDuel side, you have $33,800 remaining, just over $8,400 per player, so you could pay up for a stud, potentially even 2 if you really want to do so, and then kind of mix and match from there. Or if you want to take a little bit more balanced approach, that's definitely something that will be viable on the FanDuel side once again tonight. But with that being said, these are my picks for both FanDuel and DraftKings for today, March 26th. As always, if you have any questions related to NBA DFS, be sure to leave them down in the comments below, and I'll get back to you as quickly as possible. Also, be sure to let me know your favorite play on tonight's slate, whether it's on FanDuel or DraftKings. Might be one of the core 5 that I have here. Might be a completely different player that you guys think I missed. Definitely interested in hearing what you guys have to say. And then, as always, I'll be listing all the injury updates, COVID news, and starting lineups down in the comments below. So definitely be sure you're checking up on that throughout the day, as well as my updated core about a half hour prior to lock. But with that being said, if you're new to my channel, please consider subscribing. Definitely would appreciate it. It helps to build the community that we're trying to build here at Coach Craig Sports, which is one that's truly for you, the viewers, helping you with your DFS, whether it's NBA or NFL, helping you with your fantasy football teams. Going to be talking some Dynasty, going to be talking some NFL draft prospects. Last night even, we just did a rookie mock draft, so definitely be sure to check that out if that's something you're into, especially as you're heading into your own rookie drafts for the mock season. If you're interested in being in one of our rookie mock drafts, feel free to reach out to myself or JC Money Design. We'll be doing some type of mock draft pretty much once a week. And then with that being said, if you're a new or current subscriber who's yet to do so, also be sure to hit that notification bell down below. It's going to let you know every single time I upload a new video. Like I've been saying, I upload daily NBA DFS videos just like this. But with that being said, that's all I have for today's video. Hopefully you all enjoyed. And then last but not least, special shout out to each and every one of you watching today's video. I truly do appreciate you taking the time out of your day to watch this video. Definitely means a lot to me, and I hope each and every one of you has a great rest of your day.